Welcome back to True Crime Documentary YouTube channel. What would you do if the person you trusted most in your community, the figure of law, security, and order, held a secret so dark that, when it was uncovered, it would destroy lives and tear apart the entire town? In the quiet town of Mapleton, Virginia, Sheriff James Porter was that person, a man everyone knew and respected. He was more than just a sheriff. He was the person people looked up to, a husband and a father who seemed to embody stability. But when a body was discovered by the riverbank one quiet morning, Mapleton's peace was shattered, and everything people believed about their sheriff came into question. Mapleton wasn't the kind of place you'd expect a scandal to unfold. This was a town of quiet streets, friendly neighbors, and local gossip about little more than weekend barbecues or a neighbor's dog getting loose. Families here had deep roots, with generations staying in town, and Sheriff Porter was one of the community's strongest roots. At 41, he had served as Mapleton's sheriff for 7 years, and had worked his way up through the ranks for nearly a decade before that. His life seemed almost picture-perfect. He had a loyal wife, Laura, 2 young children, and a steady job that made him one of the town's most trusted figures. But James's personal life was anything but idyllic. While he and Laura had once been passionate partners, their marriage had slowly become a routine. She was a devoted mother and active in the community, and their life had fallen into the predictable rhythms of parenthood and work. The spark they once shared had faded into a partnership that lacked intimacy, and James began to feel something he couldn't quite name, a quiet emptiness, a longing he couldn't ignore. Then there was Lena Nassar, a 20-year-old who was unlike anyone else in Mapleton. She was the only daughter of a family of immigrants who owned a small grocery store on the edge of town. Lena was intelligent, curious, and full of dreams that stretched far beyond Mapleton. She had grown up balancing the traditional expectations of her family and her own desire for independence, often feeling trapped between her parents' cultural values and her ambitions. She wanted to go to college, to see the world beyond her small town, but her family's plans for her were more rooted in the community. The Nassar family was well respected, but somewhat isolated, and Lena felt that tension every day. It was a chance encounter, a minor theft at her family store, that first brought Sheriff Porter and Lena together. James arrived to investigate what seemed like an ordinary incident, but in that short meeting, something in Lena's spirit and intensity caught his attention. She asked him questions, not just about the case, but about his work, about the world, about life beyond Mapleton. Her curiosity and intelligence stayed with him, sparking a feeling he hadn't felt in years. He left that day, but the memory of their brief exchange lingered in his mind. From that point on, James found himself stopping by the Nassar family store more often. At first, it was under the pretense of checking in or handling a routine patrol, but he knew he was simply drawn to Lena. Their conversations grew longer, their topics more personal. She asked about his life, his past, and the town's secrets, and he found himself opening up to her. For Lena, James was more than just the sheriff. He represented a world she was curious about, a life of choice and freedom. For James, Lena was a breath of fresh air, a reminder of the passion he had long forgotten. Slowly their bond deepened, and the lines between duty and desire began to blur. One evening, the unspoken tension between them came to a head. In the dim light of the closed store, alone, James reached out, his hand brushing against hers. They shared a kiss that broke the barriers they had tried to maintain, marking the beginning of an affair that would alter the course of both their lives. What started as a connection of kindred spirits quickly turned into a passionate but dangerous relationship. They began meeting secretly, traveling to neighboring towns to avoid being seen, stealing moments where they could be themselves without the judgment of Mapleton. But the thrill of secrecy soon turned into a burden. Lena, who had once seen the relationship as a rebellious escape, started feeling trapped. Her family, unaware of her affair, had begun pressuring her to consider marriage, introducing her to young men within their community who met their traditional standards. For Lena, the relationship with James had been an assertion of her independence, a way to claim a life that was hers alone. But now, the relationship felt heavy, laced with risks she hadn't anticipated. For James, the affair took an even darker toll. His wife Laura began to notice changes in him, the late nights, the unexplained absences, and the sudden distance between them. She sensed that something was wrong, though she couldn't put her finger on what it was. James felt the weight of his double life grow heavier with each passing day. He knew that if anyone in Mapleton found out about his affair with Lena, he would lose everything: his career, his family, his reputation. Yet he couldn't bring himself to end it. He was trapped in a web of his own making, unable to let go of the passion and escape Lena offered him. Then came the morning that would change everything. A jogger found a body by the riverbank, a young woman, lifeless and still. Word of the discovery spread quickly, and Mapleton was shaken to its core. Sheriff Porter arrived on the scene, his heart pounding as he approached the body. He knew who it was before he even saw her face: Lena. She lay there, her face pale, as if in peaceful sleep. Yet the sight filled him with dread. He realized in that moment that his secret was at risk of being exposed. The life he had fought so hard to protect was on the verge of collapse. A full investigation was launched, and Mapleton, once a town of peace and simplicity, became a place of whispers and suspicion. Detective Alice Morgan, a renowned investigator from a neighboring county, was brought in to handle the case. Alice was known for her unyielding pursuit of the truth, and she immediately sensed that this quiet town held more secrets than met the eye. She started by interviewing Lena's family, who were devastated by the loss of their only daughter. They described Lena as intelligent, ambitious, and respectful, though they admitted that she had become distant in recent weeks. Lena's friends painted a more complex picture, revealing that she had been involved with someone older, a man whose identity she kept secret. They shared how conflicted she had felt about the relationship, torn between her feelings and the expectations of her family. Meanwhile, James felt his carefully crafted world falling apart. He knew that if Alice uncovered his connection to Lena, his life would be over. Desperate to protect himself, he took drastic steps, erasing messages, deleting emails, and destroying any evidence that could link him to her. He told himself it was to protect his family, but deep down, he knew he was running out of time. The walls were closing in. As Detective Morgan continued her investigation, she discovered a hidden bank account in Lena's name that had received substantial deposits over the past few months. Tracing the deposits, she found they had come from none other than James. Confronted with this evidence, James denied any relationship beyond a professional connection, claiming the payments were for unrelated matters. But Alice wasn't convinced. She could sense he was hiding something, and her instincts told her she was closer to the truth than he wanted her to be. Then came a shocking revelation that shifted the case. The coroner's autopsy revealed that Lena hadn't drowned. She had been poisoned. The toxicology report showed traces of a rare substance in her system that had slowly built up over time, causing her death. This discovery led Alice to question everyone close to Lena, and soon she traced the poison back to the most unlikely source, the Nassar family store. In a heart-wrenching confession, Lena's father, Faisal, revealed the truth. He had discovered her affair with James and felt betrayed, humiliated by what he saw as a dishonor to the family. Unable to bear the shame, he decided to take matters into his own hands. In his mind, he was protecting his family's honor, though it led to the tragic loss of his only daughter. He confessed to poisoning her slowly, hoping to end her life without drawing suspicion. Faisal's confession sent shockwaves through Mapleton, shattering the peaceful facade of the town and exposing the hidden tensions that had been simmering beneath the surface. Though James hadn't been responsible for Lena's death, his affair was now public knowledge, and the damage was done. Forced to resign, he watched as his marriage fell apart and his reputation crumbled. The people who had once trusted him now saw him as a man whose choices had brought scandal, sorrow, and disgrace to their town. Lena's tragic death left a lasting scar on Mapleton, a town that once prided itself on its harmony and simplicity. Her story became a haunting reminder of the dangers of deception, the weight of cultural expectations, and the devastating consequences of keeping secrets. She had sought freedom and independence, but had found herself trapped in a web woven by love, betrayal, and family honor. As the town tried to heal, Lena's memory lingered, a painful reminder of a life cut short, a love that could never be, and a series of choices that left only victims and a town forever marked by the tragedy that no one saw coming. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure to check out our other videos for more captivating stories. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.